Here we go, folks. Welcome aboard here to the Sports Talk Nation. We are back after a couple-week hiatus. It is time to talk about a Victory Sunday. What? Victory Sunday? That is correct, folks. The Jets and the Giants both get victories on the same day, both in overtime. When was the last time you can think of the Jets and Giants winning a game on the same day? And certainly in overtime, that's never happened from what I understand. So here we go. Let's recap what has been what turned out to be a wild NFL Sunday for the New York teams for once. Let's talk about it. Let's start it off here with this Jets game. Unbelievable football game between the Jets and the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, here's a Jets team, a young football team, developing a new quarterback and developing a young team for that matter. And for the first 3 weeks of this season, let's be honest with you, it was not fun to watch. Watching this offense not move the football at all. Averaging only 6 points a game in the first 3 games, getting shut out last week against the Denver Broncos. You're starting to hear rumblings from the fans that they're not, they don't know if they can be patient. Whether the fans can be patient too much longer with the way things are going. They're watching Sam Darnold light it up the first 3 games of the year, and he's looking fantastic down in Carolina. You're wondering, what is going on here? Here we go again with the Jets, right? You hear rumblings about the play calling, about Mike LaFleur's play calling. And I do have issues with some of the play calling that happened here today against the Titans, no doubt about that. But you're hearing all these things, all the negativity over the first 3 weeks with this young football team, and finally they come out there against what is typically a very good football team. Yes, one that was missing its top 2 receivers. I understand that in Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. I totally understand that. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. This is the National Football League, and this is a Tennessee Titans team that still has a lot of talent, a Tennessee Titans team that still has Derrick Henry, one of the best backs, if not the best back in the National Football League. Even with those injuries, Tennessee certainly is probably kicking themselves for the way they lost this football game. That being said, this was a huge win for the Jets, and one that, well, I don't know if it's going to catapult them into a number of huge wins the rest of the year. I don't think it's going to catapult them into a huge run here, but it's one of several wins this team is going to get where they're going to show you signs and show you glimmers of hope that this could be a team that could be doing something soon. Maybe not this year, but soon down the road. This was a huge win from that standpoint. It's really a win that kind of sets the groundwork, and I guess certainly in the minds of the Jets, for that matter, kind of justifies, at least to Robert Saleh and company and that head coaching staff, what they're trying to do there with that football team. Now, obviously, this was kind of in a lot of ways, it was the coming out party for Zach Wilson. Let's be honest. 21 out of 34, 297, 2 touchdowns, the interception. Did not look good early in the game. More of the drop passes. You saw Corey Davis have a couple of drop passes early in the game. The interception to Christian Fuller, which was right to him when the receiver fell, and Wilson, who a lot of people say made the right read, well, he threw it right to the guy in the Tennessee Titans uniform, and that turned out to be a pick. Still, the Jets found themselves down by only 9 points. They were still in the football game. Their defense was doing a good job. They were putting a lot of pressure on Ryan Tannehill. They were keeping Derrick Henry somewhat in check. And the Titans were only settling for field goals. It was only 9-0. And then the Jets put together, they simplified this offense. And this is really where it started to turn around here for the Jets. Towards the end of that first half, when they start to simplify the offense, more checkdowns, more screens, making sure that Wilson can get the football out of his hands fast, as we saw him do that on a number of throws to guys like Corey Davis, to guys like Keelan Cole. Jamison Crowder had a very big impact in this game throughout the game. That's really what was the focus from the end of the first half onward for New York. The 11-play, 75-yard drive, resulting in the Michael Carter touchdown to make it a 9-7 game. It just gives the Jets a little bit of a sense of semblance for that matter. Then they're able to get the lead on the next possession, make it a 10-9 football game, the first time the Jets have had a lead really the entire season. And I think in a lot of ways, that 54-yard completion that Wilson had, throwing it down the sideline to Keelan Cole to the 14-yard line, that really, I think, opened things up a little bit for Wilson. I think that play itself got him to relax a little bit as the Jets eventually kicked the field goal and took a 10-9 lead. And of course, Tennessee does respond. Ryan Tannehill, who, let's be honest, as I mentioned before, got hit a lot in this football game. The Jets had over 20, hit the quarterback over 20 times, sacked him 7 times in this football game. Quinn Williams was a monster in this one for the Jets, with a couple of sacks himself. But he still found ways to get through this Jet defense, and really the guy that was the biggest pest in this game against New York. We knew Derrick Henry was going to get his. I mean, there's no doubt about that. 157 yards rushing, but with no Brown, no Julio Jones, who are they going to go to for Tennessee? They go to Jeremy McNichols, and he just killed the Jets on screen passes in this game. There was that one play early in the game. I think it was when they were facing when the Titans were facing a 3rd and 21, and they throw a little bubble screen to McNichols, and he picks up the first down. So he was a pest against the Jets throughout the course of this football game on Sunday. So the Titans eventually get to drive down the field, get the touchdown. They take the lead again at 17-10. And now here is the challenge for the Jets and this young football team is how do they respond? Because the thought that has to go through every Jets fan's head is, well, that's it. The Jets had their little lead, and that's the end of the football game. Tennessee's now going to roll here, going into the fourth quarter. Not so fast. Obviously buoyed by the big pass interference call, the Jets get down the field, and they get the touchdown. Wilson with the touchdown to Jamison Crowder in the corner of the end zone, ties the football game up at 17. And then after Tennessee goes 3 and out, the bomb. And there it is. There it is, folks. The bomb from Zach Wilson to Corey Davis. That is why the Jets went out there and drafted Zach Wilson with a 2nd overall pick. Those kind of plays, all scheduled plays where he's rolling out of the pocket and has the arm talent to throw the ball down the field on target in that kind of tight coverage to his receiver for what turned out to be the touchdown as it gave the Jets a 24-17 lead. Now, there's certain points in this game. When you have a young team, you're going to have plays that are going to drive you nuts. And this game certainly had its fair share, certainly with the Jets having a chance after the defense does a great job holding down the Tennessee Titans. Jets have a chance to win the football game right then and there, and Zach Wilson misses Corey Davis on a critical 3rd down and 10. The Jets have to punt the football back, and Tennessee, as we all know, would eventually tie the football game up. And then we go right into overtime. And I'll be honest with you, I thought the Jets were going to lose this game. I thought they were going to lose this game going into the week. There were different points in this game watching it. I thought they were probably going to lose. And I was thinking to myself, I set myself up for this. Because I had said that this was going to be a season, this was going to be a team where you would see the Jets be competitive and still find ways to lose. And it looked like this was going to be one of those games where you were going to be really kind of, kicking the coffee table, as I like to say, at the end of it, with the Jets having lost the game they probably should have won. That was the thought creeping through my mind, but the Jets get the football back. Tevin Coleman going into overtime, Tevin Coleman has a couple of nice runs in critical situations. For example, diving for the first down on 3rd and 1. That helped keep the chains moving. Then Wilson finding Cole again, this time down the sideline on a pass I thought was going to be overthrown. He catches it right in the breadbasket of his arms and tiptoeing it down the sideline for the first down. And eventually the Jets make their way to the 1-yard line. And then another boneheaded play call, this time by LaFleur, asking Wilson to roll out. What was he thinking there? I have no idea. Jets settled for the field goal. And, of course, we have to all sit there on the edge of our seats waiting for this game to end, waiting for the defense to make a play, and they would make a play, get a sack, get an incompletion, and then, of course, Ryan Tannehill would hit somebody, whether it be McNichols, whether it be Derrick Henry running for a big first down, whether it be someone like Chester Rogers or Josh Reynolds, somebody making a big play at the last second on a big 3rd down to keep the chains moving for Tennessee, and you're thinking, this is just a mess. This is going to be a terrible, terrible loss. And as the clock is ticking, thinking maybe even a tie, you would hate to get that after a game that you probably feel you should have won. But, of course, fortunately, the missed field goal, and that sends MetLife Stadium into absolute bananas as the Jets get their first win. And, I think today, easily the best win the Jets have had in many years. Okay, and the Jets haven't had many wins in a long time, as we all know. Only 2 wins last year. A lot of people didn't want to win those 2 games last season. You want to go back 2 years to the game they won against the Cowboys early in that season? You want to go back that far? I think some people are probably going to go back that far, but It's been a long time. It's been a long time since the Jets have had a win like that. It was a thrill a minute. It was a great football game on both sides, going back and forth, and the Jets showed some moxie. They showed some muscle against one of the NFL's top teams in the Tennessee Titans. Again, Wilson showed a lot of progress in this game. There were, again, plays that you would like to see him not make, and there were a lot of plays that you loved seeing what you saw. You saw the arm talent. Again, as I mentioned before, you saw the guy who has an ability to roll out of the pocket and make plays with his legs. He showed a lot of toughness. This team as overall showed a lot of toughness. And this defense, yes, they did give, like I said, they gave up a lot of yards today. The Titans held the football for a very long time, nearly 40 minutes in this game. I understand that. But the fact is, the Jets got 7 sacks in this game. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback in this game. They did the best they could to contain a great player in Derrick Henry in this game. They were excellent as far as I'm concerned. And now the Jets sit here at 1-3. And again, they give you a reason to hope that the things are starting to turn around in the right direction. And that's all, if you're a Jets fan, you can ask for it. A great win, and one that's going to be remembered for a very, very long time. It's an instant classic against the Titans. Now, even the Giants won, as I mentioned before at the top. They win by a score of 27-21 over the New Orleans Saints. They are also 1-3. Again, how about this? All the New York teams are winning today, except for the Mets. 21. They were down 21-10 in this football game. Looked like they were going to be on their way to lose. And then Daniel Jones hits Saquon Barkley streaking down the sideline on a 54-yard catch and run for a touchdown. Gets the Giants to within 21-16. Then Jones takes it in for the 2-point conversion, makes it 21-18. And as we all know, the Giants would eventually find a way to tie this football game up, send it in overtime, and then Saquon Barkley does the rest, plowing in from 6 yards out to culminate a 9-play, 75-yard drive for the Giants as they win by a score of 27-21. I was trying to go back and forth between the Jets game and this game. I was more in tune with the Jets game of how crazy that one was. But this was a huge win for the Giants. He did have a big completion of Kenny Galladay for 23 yards to Daniel Jones. And, a lot of people have ripped Daniel Jones over the years, last couple of years. A lot of people going into this year questioning whether he's going to be the long-term answer for this team. And you could still make that question, but he did throw for 400 yards in this game. Even though this is a team that has lost 3 games going into this one, you can't sit here and say Daniel Jones is the reason the Giants were 0-3. It was really a collection of a lot of different things for Big Blue. And even in the game last week, collection of bad play calling, bad execution. The defense not doing its job late in the game against Atlanta last week. A lot of things have played into the Giants being 0-3 going into this game against New Orleans. And a lot of played into them being down 21-10 going into the fourth quarter. But they showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of spunk. They found a way to get back into the football game and win a football game against let's just be honest, it's a mediocre New Orleans team right now, who was 2-2. So the Giants are now 1-3. They have to be feeling pretty good about themselves. Takes a little bit of heat off of the coaching staff a little bit. A lot of people are talking about, Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator, whether he should be fired or not. A lot of people have been talking about Joe Judge and his job security. Of course, David Gettleman, his job security is always a topic of conversation for Giant fans. That now cools off just a little bit as the Giants finally get their first win of the 2021 season. And, of course, a little bit of heat off of Barkley as well, as he had the 2 biggest plays in this game, the 54-yard catch and run and the rushing touchdown to win the ball game. 2 scores for a guy who has been slowly getting his way back, his sea legs back underneath him from his injury. So, a happy day in New York. I don't believe this. A happy day in New York for the 2 New York football teams. They don't come often, but they did today, as both now stand at 1-3. Want more content? Remember, folks, you know where to get it, right here on the Sports Talk Nation. Remember to like and subscribe right here to the Sports Talk Nation. And also, remember to follow us on the Twitter at OpenMikeNJ and Facebook.com/OpenMikeProgram. Talk to you next time.